Hello and welcome to my new series. I'm going to be interviewing beautiful, amazing people that are a part of the Freedom Era and the Enagic Business. So I am so grateful to welcome Beth Noel Magin. And welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to do this and to have a chat with you today and talk more about what I love about Enagic and the Freedom Era and this whole community. Really, it's pretty phenomenal. And I mean, we've just met today, which is what's part of the reason I love this community.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. So just have some questions for you. So how long have you been part of the Freedom Era and Enagic?
So I actually started with Enagic in March of 2020, literally the weekend the world shut down. So it took me about a
Perfect
month and a
timing.
half. Yeah, no lie. I know. It was like the world shut down, and I was working at the time at an office, and our office closed the week prior to everyone else's. So I was at home for a week without my kids. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing working from home. And I got this new business, and I was like kind of excited about learning about it. And so it was 4 years ago. And then the real world, everything shut down. And then I had a 3-year-old that was not potty trained running around, and I was still working full time, had a team there. And then I was growing this online. Now, TFE didn't exist when I came on. It started probably 4 months later, but I jumped in as soon as they had it because it's a great platform, and it literally showed me everything I know, right? Like, it's the platform that showed me how to be online. It showed me how to do sales. It showed me about the water. It just has everything you need in order to build a business. And it's really cool that you don't have to go looking for it. And then on top of that, the community that you are brought into, you're not sort of like, they don't just sell you a product and say, good luck, right? There's lots of different ways in which different teams help and support their teams. We have a couple of chat threads. And then, of course, we have TFE that we lean on. And then we also have some groups that help with our products as well as the business, so that we can get all the information that we need. So there's never a moment that you can't find information or not figure out how to do what you need to do. And there's usually always somebody online. I answer questions a lot throughout the day from people that have questions and stuff. So yeah, it's been about 4 years. And one other thing, I guess the one thing I used to say when I first started, before I made my first sale, I was like, if nothing else, I love this community. Like, it really transformed many parts of my life, being a part of this, not just being a part of the business, but being a part of this community and how they support you. So I'm really grateful to that part of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. I mean,
Yeah.
so besides COVID though, what was it? Like, what drew you to
Oh, okay. Yeah.
into the business?
Yeah, well, it wasn't COVID, actually. It just happened to be that it shut down at that moment. But I was working a 9 to 5 for many, many years. I had been a yoga and Pilates instructor. So I had tried that, kind of working on my own, starting my own business. And it was quite successful, to be honest. That's all I was doing. I wasn't like waitressing and teaching. It's all I had. But there wasn't a lot of leverage. If I wasn't working, I wasn't making money. And I also just came to a point where I realized, like, I wasn't digging deep enough with people. Like, a lot of people just wanted to lose weight, or they just wanted to be stretched. And that was great. You can definitely, well, you can't really lose weight doing yoga, but I don't know why everyone thinks that. But you can a little bit, I suppose. But really, I just wanted to like really dig into people's minds. So I actually became a coach. I didn't actually wind up coaching. I just got my certificate, and then I started having babies and building houses. And so I went to the 9 to 5 world. So it was 13 years in the 9 to 5 world, which actually I enjoyed as well. I was in advertising, and I love working with creatives and creating really cool campaigns. And that's what kind of drew me to this business a little bit, because I could kind of transfer some of those skills, but you do not have to have any of those skills. But I was just sick of not having any time. I was sick every 2 months. I saw my kids at night for a couple of hours and on the weekends. And on the weekends, it was catch up. It's like, I got to do laundry. I got to get this done, all these things that I couldn't get done during the week because I was working so much. So sure, I made a lot more money. And sure, I had benefits and all those things, but I really wasn't living. Sure, I took a big vacation a year and things like that. Sometimes not even because we were busy building a house. And it just became like this hamster wheel that I'm like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. One of the reasons I became a yoga instructor is I really wanted to have time freedom and the ability to say when I was working. And then all of a sudden I had kids and I really had no say. So when my friend was showing up differently online, who I had actually met at a yoga retreat, we knew each other before we had kids. Then we both got married. Then we both had kids. So I've known her a long time. And I just was like, what are you doing? And she's like, watch the webinar. So I watched the webinar and that's how you do it. Because I'll tell you, if you get someone that, that comes to you or if like one of us says, watch the webinar, like just watch the webinar, because really that will give you the information you need, and you will begin to feel if this is a fit for you or not. You will probably have questions. I definitely did, but like, I got so excited when I watched that webinar. I was like, oh, like, what is this? I was like, then there was a group they put me in and I got to see what the community was all about. So the online space was a little bit different 4 years ago, but it's still very similar. And our community has not changed at all. We are still very conscious, wanting to support people in their journey and really just give people a chance to shift their life if they want to put the work in. I mean, there's work. It's not like you plug in and then somebody does it for you. There is automation though. There is some of that, but you have to want to make the change and make the shift and actually shift your own mindset around like how you choose to live. And my life looks very different than it did 4 years ago now. So it was very much worth the jump in for me. Yeah.
And what's the difference? I mean, like, besides more time,
Yeah.
what's the
Well, I'm healthier by far.
Mhm.
There's actually a photo of me, like literally a couple weeks before I signed the papers, that I accidentally took at work to send to my friend or to my daughter at school because I never got to see her. And she had sent me a photo. So I took like a quick selfie and I look at that photo and I was tired and puffy. The water definitely helped a lot with congestion for me, which, you just don't know how inflamed you are until if that makes sense,
Well, until you start learning about it, and then like see, like you actually see the like, whoa, to see the
like your
difference.
whole body changes, like everything. I know. And actually a friend of mine bought a machine a year ago. She's a mom friend of mine, was not interested in the business at all. And everyone keeps saying to her, she's like, everyone keeps saying like, have you lost weight? You look really good, like, and she's like, I think it's the water. I'm like, I think it is, like, and she came to that conclusion like 9 months later, so sometimes it just takes a second. But when I tell people the shift that this water has, like on a molecular level, like at a cellular level, it's really hard to describe unless you experience it. I do have a loaner machine, and some people actually, that have borrowed it, they have gotten sick. And they're like, well, all I know is I got sick while I was borrowing your machine. I'm like, because you're detoxing, like there are things that are coming out of your cells that are just sitting in there rotting,
For years and years and years, that you need
right,
to just like detox. So
yeah,
just because
total
just
detox.
because you're not feeling well, it's because you're detoxing. If you're doing a
Yeah,
cleanse, then your body
yeah,
is detoxing from the cleanse. So if you're
yeah,
drinking
it's
water, which we all need, this is a great
yeah,
cleanse.
yeah. I know but it really has to be experienced, and you have to be open to it. And so that's the other thing, the mindset, that has shifted, right? I mean, my life looks very different. I am no longer in the relationship I was in. My kids are obviously 4 years older. They've shifted and changed a lot. So there's been a lot of personal change, as well as obviously my business growing. I mean, I have a global business now. I have a team of people that I have helped grow into whatever it is that they've wanted. Some people sell just the water. Some people are really interested in helping people create an online business. So, just my just my outlook on life has shifted, right? Like I have a lot more gratitude for what I do have. I'm less stressed. I can cope with the things that are life throws at me way better. And that's partly the water because I'm feeling healthier. But it's also just a lot of the mindset work that you do in order to have the courage to show up online or have the courage to talk to someone new about this product that you have. Have the courage to ask people to purchase something that's a higher cost, than most people are used to buying, right? Those types of things. Like it takes courage and it takes like a just like that shift in your head that you are worthy and you are capable. And not trying to get all woo woo on people here either, but like you can really um become a completely different person just by looking at yourself and then actually having people support you in those shifts that are happening, because they're going to happen and they're not always going to be pretty and they're not always going to be easy. The way my life has shifted in the last 4 years, there's been a lot of things that have been hard. I've really walked through some fire rings, but it is so much better on the other side. So if I can stand here and say that, then, if you're at that point where you're like, I know I need to make a change, but I don't know what. And when this was introduced to me, it was definitely not what I thought I wanted. I was very resistant. I didn't really want to do sales, that whole thing. And then I realized, okay, I love this water. I love this product. I love this legacy comp plan, which is really the main thing that kind of drew me in. I was like, I was already making enough money, so it wasn't a money thing for me. It was more wanting more time. And I looked at this comp plan, and I was like, oh, like this can actually make you money. Because I have been in low ticket network marketing and it didn't make me any money. Yeah. And I have nothing against it. There are some people that make a lot of money, or there's some people that make the money that they need, but a couple $1,000s a month for me is not enough. I live in Los Angeles, California. You have to have at least 10K coming in a month, and that's just a normal, that's an average. So, so for me, making small ticket sales just wasn't an option, right? I was more of the breadwinner. So anyway, there's a lot of shifts that happen, but today I'm just about to make another sale to a woman who I've talked to for the last 6 months, and she's been interested in the water, and she's going to pop by and probably get a machine. You just don't know when these things are going to happen, and you just keep sharing and talking about it, and all of a sudden you've got this amazing business, and like the product is amazing. So you feel really good about people coming in and grabbing the water and having the water in their life. And my friend I was telling you about, who said in 9 months, like how people are like, you look so different. She's, I think, interested in doing the business now. So we might start doing stuff together here in LA, because I don't really have an LA team. So I have a lot of water sales in LA, but most of my team that's actually selling the business and the water is in other parts of the world and other parts of the country. So, yeah.
That's awesome. That'll be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let's see. So what can you share from your experience to help people see how important it is to do what brings you joy?
Well, from a person who worked a job that she loved because that's what she initially wanted to do, right? Like when I got out of college, I wanted to work in advertising or communications or marketing, so I really went after what I wanted. But, we all shift and change. And when you begin to shift and change and you realize the life you've built isn't working for you anymore, and I know that happens to a lot of people, and you don't have to get to my age. I turned 50 this year, but you don't have to get to my age to have that feeling. I had that feeling at 30, when I had worked my first job for a couple of years, and I was like, I went to college to do this, So even that, like working in a job that was really what I wanted to be doing, it just wasn't really ticking all the boxes. And that's why I started to teach yoga and Pilates. But then I also realized that when I started teaching yoga and Pilates and doing massage and had my whole wellness business, like after 5 or 6 years, that also wasn't ticking the boxes. So it, it's important to recognize when the things you're doing on a daily basis are not bringing you joy, and to know that it doesn't have to shift overnight. It's not like you're going to wake up and the next day you're going to have that perfect job, that perfect life, that perfect relationship. It takes time, it takes work, it takes your own thought process around like, well, what is it that I want? What is it that I want? And I think sometimes people are busy manifesting or trying to create that thing in their life. And again, it could be anything from a new business to more money or a relationship, but they're not really honing in on what they want. So if you can actually begin with, what is it that I want? What is it that would make me feel really elated every day? Then you kind of start to think, okay, what are the things that I need to do in order to have that happen? Right. So for me, I love travel. So I need to, like, every once in a while think about where I'm going to go. Like, what do I want? Where do I want to go? Someone actually asked me the other day, like, oh, where would you go in the States if you could? And I really didn't have any places in mind. I had to think really hard about that. So I usually think somewhere outside the States, even though there's so many places in the States that I want to go, but I hadn't really thought about it. So how can you bring that into your reality if it's not even a thought in your mind? So I think that's, I guess, my cue on living in joy. If you're really not, like, really hunker in on what you want, there's lots of tools for that, making dream boards or journaling, body movement, and then writing, like body movement as in walking or running or doing yoga or whatever, dancing, and then taking 5 minutes when you're done, once you've kind of shifted some energy, to like say, hey, like, what do I want to do? How, if that's the question, right? Or how is my life going to bring me more joy? That's also a great question, because it doesn't always have to be what you're doing, but what you're becoming, because we're always becoming, right? Our cells regenerate, our bones regenerate. I just posted something. Our bones regenerate every 10 years. So you have like new bones every 10 years, right? Like,
Yay, that's good to know.
yeah, it's kind of cool, right? Yeah.
Yes. Well,
So I hope that answered your question. I feel like I went on
yes.
a little bit of a tangent, but
No, that's fabulous. But I mean, like,
yeah.
that's amazing to, you learn something new every single day. So I mean, like, your bones regenerate every 10 years, but then this water is absorbing into the cells
Mhm.
and even breaking the brain barrier. So I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. So it's
Yeah.
good for the blood, it's good for the cells, it's good for the bones, it's good for everything. Everything.
Yeah. The water and the business, the business really feeds your soul, because there's so much support here. Men and women. I know we're two women talking right now, but there are men that are like blowing this business up. There's women that are blowing this business up, and it's done so many different ways. So when people come to me and say, but how do you do this? I was like, well, there's online, there's offline, there's webinars, there's ads, there's no one way. So it's sort of like you got to kind of get in and learn the business a little bit. Like, what is it that, excites you? Do you want to talk more about the water? Do you want to talk more about the business? Do you want to do a combo of both? I do a little bit of both, because I do believe in the water, but I love the business. I love helping people create a way to get out of the 9 to 5, or create a way to create more income, like a second income stream that's easy, that's not time consuming, or where you're at the beck and call of an employer or something like that. Yeah.
Awesome. And what rank, like, what have,
I'm 5A right now. I have 6A2 here because that's where I'm going. So yeah.
That's our goal.
So
That's our vision.
yeah, that's
That's
our vision.
our
Our path. Yeah. And you
that's
have
what
to
we're
have a path.
manifesting.
Yes. Yeah. And your path really should, I hate using the word should, but your vision should feel like it's already done. Like, it's already done. It's not something that is going to happen, but it's something that has happened. And it's just a matter of it coming into reality. So what are some of the things that you're already feeling, that you'll feel when you're 6A2? I mean, for me, I'm doing it. I'm interviewing with people and getting to meet new people in the community. I'm helping my team grow. Like, I'm having a call with my team tonight to talk to them about like how to reach out to some people, because there's a price hike coming and the machine prices are going up. So we're talking about how we can reach out to people. I've reached out to like 50 people this morning, so that's what I do. And that's, those are the things that the everyday actions that get me to the next rank or the next whatever it is, the next level in my life. It could be, okay, I'm exercising every day because I was realizing I wasn't exercising enough and I was getting tired and I was getting sick. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing? Right. So you got to take the actions to become that person that's healthy again. Right. So what are those things? So it's, but it's all, some things fall down while other things are rising. And, it's always a balancing act. So sometimes, you're not as healthy as you want to be, or sometimes your business isn't growing as fast as you want it to be, but it is always growing if you're putting efforts towards it in even small ways, So, yeah.
Well, you just got to learn. That's the main thing. You just have to learn to pivot. Like, okay, this isn't working. Okay, cool. Pivot to what? What else?
Yeah.
What else can you
Yeah.
learn? Because I mean, the minute that we stop learning, we die. So it's all
Totally.
a learning process. All a
Yeah.
learning process. You know.
Yeah. I actually did a post today about decision making. Like sometimes just making a decision, right? And even if you don't know if it's the right or the wrong decision, just making it and moving forward. It's sort of like when you're looking at a map and you're like, okay, are we going to go north or are we going to go south? I mean, that will change the trajectory, but it's like going north is not wrong or going south isn't wrong, but it's going to change the direction you go, right? So if
Mhm.
you can, just make a decision, sometimes like you sit on a fence and you're like looking at this and you're looking at that and you're making lists and you're trying to decide and you're like, just make a decision and move forward. And if it doesn't work, you're going to hit a wall anyway. And you're going to turn around and go the other way. But if you don't
Love
make a
it.
decision, nothing happens. You just sit in the same old thing. And sometimes people don't understand, like, how have I not moved forward? I'm like, well, when was the last time you made a real decision? When was the last time? So that's a good question to ask yourself too. Like, what do I want? And I'm going to decide now. Like, I'm just going to make a decision to move that forward and just whatever that is. Okay, I want a candy bar. I got to get in the car and I got to go to the drugstore or wherever you get your candy bars. Maybe you have one in the drawer in the kitchen. Then you get up and you walk over to the kitchen. Make a decision, with no guilt, no shame, just do it and move
That's what I
forward.
want, and that's what I'm doing.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So what has the journey been like for you? Like just being a part of the community in regards to the community and the Freedom Era and everything that the Freedom Era offers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Freedom Era itself is such a cool system and it offers process for you and all of that, right? Like the Freedom Era, you just go in there and, you have to be self-motivated. I will tell you, nobody's going to hold your hand. But when you get in there, all of a sudden it starts to give you tasks and it starts to give you direction. So you don't have to make so many decisions on your own, right? You feel supported by this platform that's created. And then we have, these chat threads, right? That I can literally reach out to anyone at any point during the day and generally get a response within a half hour to an hour. I'm usually quicker than that. But
That's
for
the beautiful
me,
thing.
yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? But for me, like just being a part of this community has made like, okay, when I was teaching yoga and Pilates, like I always tried to kind of create like a community of yoga instructors. But number one, there was never really any time because we were always teaching, because if we weren't teaching, we weren't making money. And then when we would get together, it just felt like, well, I don't know why we're here, like, because, I got to be working, or some of them were always concerned about money. And so there was always this feeling of like, I can't be here long, and there wasn't a ton of community support because we were all sort of after the same thing, that no one could kind of get out of their own heads about it. Right.
Mhm.
I did eventually find somewhat of a community, but it's very different because with this community, every time you help someone, you're technically helping yourself. Is that selfish? No, not necessarily. But the way the system is set up and the way the compensation plan is set up, no, it's not a pyramid scheme, because that's like working at a 9 to 5 where you have someone way at the top, they're making a lot, then you have a couple people below them and a couple people, and then you have all these people, and they have no way of making more money. They have no way of getting ahead. Whereas here, after a certain amount of sales for someone on my team, like they could surpass me, and I'm not making any more commissions on them, which is fine, because I'll have a new person that I'm teaching how to do the same thing, right? And I'll be making commissions from them. But what's interesting is the more you help, the more you grow, and the more your team grows, and then the more everything, and it just becomes this ripple effect. So it's just this amazing, feel good, conscious community of people that are genuinely here to serve, to not only serve the people not in the community yet, or the people that are looking for this amazing water, but also the people within the community. I mean, there's people that have been in this community that haven't made one sale, and they're still here. And sometimes it's just the community that they're here for. And that's fine. That's fine too, because they raise the vibe just as much as somebody that's out there killing it, making sales, or someone that's like making a sale a month or a couple sales a month. It doesn't matter. The sales is service, right? So, it happens when it happens, and you can move that trajectory forward too. The more you learn and the better you get at your skills and honing your skills. It's like anything, it's just a new skill, but it's learnable. There are people that are like, PhDs that, might never jump on something like this because it's like not something a skill set they want to learn, but not because they couldn't, right? This is not for everyone, but it is for everyone, if that makes sense. Anyone can do this, or anyone can do this, but it's not for everyone, right? So,
yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. I totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Yeah. Thank you. That was awesome.
You're welcome. This was so much fun. It was really nice to meet you, and just to, kind of express things and I just love talking to people. So this has been great. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much. And just so you know, last night I did a webinar, and the webinar is only going to be up for 72 hours until Thursday night. Then it's going to be taken down. But on June 1st, like she said, Beth was saying, the machines the prices are going up, but they haven't gone up in 21 years. So the prices are going up.
Yeah.
There's going to be an amazing 30-day mentorship to take you step by step to launch your business and go through the process. I will be there right with you. And I will also offer a strategy call, one-on-one strategy call to, just answer any questions and help you along the way. So get in contact with me, and please take a look at Beth Noel Magin.
You got it.
Yeah.
You got
All
it.
right.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah. Watch the webinar.
Yes. Watch the webinar. Eyes on the webinar.
Eyes on the webinar. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
All right. So hopefully wherever you're tuning into from, have a good day, have a good evening, and thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.